We're back.
Wonderful.
I like Lane's hold music.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's good.
Haha.
It's good.
We return for more of the same trashy McTrash trash.
New different trash.
Okay. So when we left off, we had hand waved the excursion back out of the dungeons. The series of nat 20s that Fetid rolled to get you down there, am just going to rule our use come back. I will point out something I didn't mention because I was jumping into break. That on your return trip, you will in fact encounter um, various signs of undead beasties becoming like losing their undeath and crumpling and otherwise as the purple fungus begins to die back. So, for
Good,
example,
good.
you'll come across the body of one of the zombie driders,
Do we
and
see
that
any of
sort of
the
thing.
Quaggles?
You don't because the living quaggles that are actually you'll probably come across a couple of bodies of like some of the infected kobolds types that you had encountered previously, um, but none of the living quaggles, as Fetid predicted, they are very soundly hiding
Mm-hmm.
after the the news of encountering vampire illithids and beholders and such like. I mean, or even just the slime shul was pretty much good enough.
Can we just send word to
Goodbye.
Which,
them to let them know that the coast is hopefully clear?
yeah, I'll say Fetid can easily just throw an animal messenger out there, um, a rat to run off and
Um,
spread the word.
as we like leave that cavern area, though, could we also like leave a warning sign?
Yeah,
Just
don't
like
come
a
here.
like, yeah, beware
It's kind of
undead vampire um infected stuff. It's like on a
uh,
little picket sign.
Bad
I
magic.
would say I would say Fetid is confident that in the lack of need for that. He's like, yeah, the Quaggles here very much know to avoid this place,
Yeah.
and have been doing so long before us big folks or
Does
you
Gary
big
return?
Oh,
folks.
I mean for like, your everyday traveler sort of person, just in
Hmm.
case someone's like, oh, some shelter from the storm, and then there's like, ah, you know, not everyone's like us. You gotta be more considerate, I think. Sorry to be so preachy, but she's making the sign and putting it up.
Hmm.
In fairness, if they made it that far down, they're probably
Oh,
adventurers.
Yeah.
no, the outside of the cave, like where we
Oh,
entered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
stay the fuck out. You're gonna die.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you've made your way back to the surface and nursed your wounds after a night's rest, and returned to the Temple of Lolth, uh,
With Trumlin
uh,
strapped to my chest.
bearing a statue of Tromlin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the High Priestess is present. She is a drow with long purple hair and big striking violet eyes. In her purpley Lolth robes.
Oh,
And as you,
hey.
yeah, and indeed, she is very, very tall and willowy.
Hey, we might need some help. We had a bit of an oopsie. I don't know. He's real good with Lolth, but he's a stone now.
Uh,
I don't know if you
there
can
will be
fix that.
some general like gasping of like the various priesthood here, and you'll hear the mutterings like, "Oh no, the Avatar!" Oh, ooh. Um, uh, but the high priestess will look with concern. It's like that doctor thing. She'll even pull out one of those little reflector things and stethoscope and check him, and then she'll lay a hand on his brow and cast a greater restoration.
Yay.
Dromlin
Back.
returns to the flesh.
You have like a 3-day-old Charlie horse just like seizing all of your muscles.
Hi, thank you very much.
No fun.
Morgan like checks her hair one last time before going, wonderful to make your acquaintance. I'm Morgan the Satyr, and introduces herself.
I swoop Tromlin up in a big hug and then set him back down. Glad you're back, buddy.
No blood monkey could ever replace you.
Glad to hear it.
So
Listen,
Morgan,
now- tires.
the head priestess, is annoyingly not responding a ton to your flirting.
I
Because
don't like that.
she's super preoccupied with Tromlin.
Just stealing all of the limelight. So
He's
selfish.
extra fancy.
And you quickly get the impression like they're talking about him, like they're treating him not just like, oh, he's hot. They're treating him like he's some kind of like, you know, pope or something. They're treating him like he's like an important person in their organization. And you hear a couple people like whisperingly refer to him as the Avatar.
Okay.
Avatar fucker, maybe.
But you don't see any airbending, so you're not sure.
Yeah.
There was some dick bending.
You want my
though.
bending in the bedroom? What?
Excellent. So trauma, you can sort of, bring up the favor that was owed. That hey, I did some stuff for you guys. You're supposed to fix my friend's hand.
Yep.
And they will do so. She will cast another greater restoration.
I immediately put a hand up for high five. From Fetid.
Just to test it out.
You
Gotta try it
physically
out.
Climb your
Yeah.
body to reach it.
I put it down. Good.
Nice. Okay.
Thank you kindly for restoring my friends. And
Yeah, so Fetid, it's like fully back in working order. However, the new hand, when it first appears, is a completely different color, right? Because there's no filth.
green.
Oh,
Like
right.
it's just a new hand.
It's orange.
So it's the bright orange
Finally.
Fetid color. All the rest
seen
of you
that
is still
shade on
that
you in a
slime
while.
brown.
Mint condition hand.
I don't know if you've got any of the pictures handy, Alina, but you could
Oh
pull
yeah,
up
I grabbed one of those.
one of
post-bath
Lara's
picture.
drawings and one of the post-bath picture. Lara
very
has
good.
drawn both tones.
Hashtag bathtub stream.
He's a
Yep.
shiny little guy. There he is.
For your information, Raven, Jeff actually rolled randomly for what Pantone would be Fetid's real color after he was washed.
Nice.
It was a surprise even to me.
He's a
But you do it.
tangerine.
I'm really surprised that there's not like a shedding that happens, but like,
It's sort of a gradual process with me. Like the dirt gets caked on, and sometimes it takes some old skin off with it.
Can't relate, but
Mhm.
Now put up one that of just regular colored
Just regular?
Fetid for audience
regular?
comparison.
the regular degular.
Yeah. There he is.
Yep.
Look at his hats.
Look at
Look at all
me.
those good hats.
Some good hats.
All those flies are my friends.
Yes.
I love that
My
that
God.
hat has the dead flower on it because that's the top hat that you stole from the shambling mound.
Yep.
Right.
Like game 10.
Excellent. Um, so yeah, the High Priestess of Lalth, of course, wants to confer on various things, and maybe you bring her up to speed on, I don't know, what you're willing to divulge um, regarding your activities, your offspring, and that sort of thing. Obviously, she's heard of your offspring because you brought them here before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell her anything that the mother wouldn't want to be known.
Like probably not their names, for example.
Yeah, no, that's off the table.
Yep.
But I will say there's 3 left total. So we have the final survivors.
Their final forms. Mm-hmm.
They are currently with their mom. They are learning the appropriate languages and their place in the cosmos. And they can already destroy a mechanical door if need be.
So, when you're done at the Temple of Lalth, what's next? You put a lot
It's
of
time to
stuff
go
on
home
hold.
finally.
Yeah. I don't know about you all, but I could sleep for a week.
I just
Yeah.
want to go home and back to my store.
Mm-hmm.
So, I seem to remember that we had reached out to, I think so far just the dwarves through Durcut Starsmith, the dwarf bookseller who had leads on runestone magic, saying like, we
Right.
think that runesteel and the legend blade or whatever is connected to a possibly world-ending prophecy, and that we might need to get some like big factions together to talk if we're going to try and stop
Wasn't
it.
it called the Doombreaker?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds fair.
Yes, Doombreaker was the translation of the name of the sword.
Good.
So I think maybe this is time to like see what Morgan's plans are for the coming. Dude, what are you up to?
What's your plans?
About world-ending prophecies, maybe we could have like a little gathering and chat about some things in a pretty private space.
Yeah, so
I think
the
that would
Waffle
be
House?
good.
Waffle House?
Privater.
Maybe the inn?
You weren't staying at an inn. You were
We could find
staying
one?
at
we were
at the Sunshine School
Right.
for Peculiar
Um,
Youngsters, where you have your own private suite.
It's
Gotcha.
actually not a bad
I was
I'll be
actually
research.
I'll be right back. My kid's calling me. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
not to yuck your yum, but I could probably find us some nicer accommodations. I actually wanted to go check out some things anyways at the market. So why don't we, get some rest and do that? And Morgan's gonna make contact with Blood Sugar Sex Magic on her own.
The cult of blood sugar sex magic. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Just in the interest of time, also, Peter, something that I was going to remind you of that has been by the wayside for a while is that you were planning, after you had helped to deal with this stuff in the sewer, to go out to the site where the bucket was broken open.
Yeah.
And potentially see if you could find traces there. I'm just going to hand you that. If you're kind of going your separate ways briefly, you would, of course, want to go out and have an exposition to do that. You can, because you can fly quite easily now, you can make that expedition and attempt to find any traces of Barb's ashes that might have been left behind. There aren't any. But you will definitely note that there is still like a magical scar in the air here where the portal sucked through the other version of Copernicus.
Gotcha.
And that was a magic thing you had detected from afar, out in the hills when you were up in the tower of the Sunshine School. So when you go out and inspect that space, you find that there is just this magical zone hovering in the air, basically like a remaining scar of the tear between worlds that had been there. But you will also note that there are more undead roving bands wandering in the Badlands than even when you were there before.
Yikes.
And
Okay.
you are very pleased that you are flying and will be able to return.
You're not sad that you're
swiftly.
flying.
Yes, you're glad
I'm
that
not
you're
proud of
flying.
Deep gut.
Morgan,
Cool.
so sorry, is there anything you want to follow up on that or ask about?
I might try and get someone to cast locate object for me on the remainder of Barb's ashes because I'm worried that someone's gotten them and is going to do something with them. But I can wait for that. I'll just get that in the queue.
So Morgan, you were looking to make contact with your sex cult here in Dwimmerdell,
Mm-hmm.
and they are in fact active in Dwimmerdell, which is how in fact you originally learned that this group was here in the city. So you go and you make contact with your the local cult leaders. I can't
Just
remember.
a local dom mommy.
Yeah, did I name that character? I don't think I did yet. When you first hooked up with the group, I don't think I actually.
No.
So I'm happy to say that Dom Mommy is her title.
Yeah. Her name that she goes by publicly is Sticks and Stones.
Good.
Yeah, basically looking for accommodations, probably going to be taking over one of the sex dungeons. It's got enough furniture in it, most likely, for all of us to sleep comfortably.
It's just one big round bed.
We've got a lot more furniture than that, don't you worry.
What's this swing for? That looks comfy. I'm gonna sleep in that.
Yeah.
Why does
Like
the
a
bear have a
hammock.
hole in the bottom?
Yeah.
It's perfect as a hole for his tail to hang out.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like someone made a perfect kobold hammock.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I'll actually also be bringing along the gem.
Ooh, shiny.
As she wants to like titillate and show off some of her activities that she's had out adventuring, and also maybe get some insight into what kind of magical item it might be.
Okay, so two things then. So you're going out and you're making contact. The Dom Mommy of this particular chapter. I'm absolutely just going to keep using that as a title. The Dom Mommy of this chapter of the cult of the blood sugar.
Would that be a
Second
Dommy?
Magic. Indeed.
Tommy
Dory.
Dearest?
Her name is Virion. And as you're sort of going to renew contact with Virion and the chapter, and you're thinking about this gem, you will be in conversation with members of the cult and trying to arrange accommodations and the rest for everybody. And as you're doing so, you will see the familiar image of your reflection in one of the mirrors. There, of course, there's lots of mirrors, because I mean, of course there is. But you'll see a reflection in one of the mirrors as you're about to bring up the gem, catch your eye and go.
Okay. All right.
And you sort of like mid-sentence kind of like, because you're like, well, I found something interesting, and then that you see that and you're like, it was a
book.
a beholder. There was a beholder down there. Whatever. There was a book. I found some books. I mended them. Will you guys help me figure out what they are?
Yeah.
So you neatly segue into a something less contentious.
Wonderful. But mostly this is to gather a comfortable, emphasis on comfortable and clean, obviously sanitized regularly, space where we can very privately have a conversation about the notes that I took from my encounter in the Feywild.
And then you can take Fetid in there and ruin it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
No.
roast any
Fetid is not the
friends.
One and
messiest
four.
thing. Fetid is not the messiest thing that's been in or will ever encounter that room.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Certainly not in terms of volume. Okay. Sure. So sort of while we'll say there's a little kind of housekeeping going on. Fetid makes contact with the Quaggles while you're doing this and sort of like lets them know that he thinks the purple fungus is probably going to be on its way out. That they destroyed the Illithid that was behind it. Warns them about the beholder that's hanging out. He's an okay guy, but you know he's a little accident prone and deadly, so be careful. And they thank him profusely, and the usual thing where they try to like offer him gifts of like their riches, which of course is all like old boots and stuff that they find in the sewers, and he's like,
They need it more than I do, though. I'm gonna politely decline.
Yeah, it's like Robin Hood. You don't do it for the riches.
You're getting regular meals and everything. It's a good deal.
And of course, Tromlin is checking in with the Church of Lulth and all that stuff in this process. And Copernicus goes out and checks things out in the hills. Maybe he takes Ugna with him because he can cast a fly spell on a friend.
Yeah.
Use some backup.
And so you all kind of reconvene back in town and meet at the Sunshine School for Peculiar Youngsters, just as a large and obvious landmark. This is like a big Hogwartsy school on the edge of town, full of weird floating towers and strange creatures that Morgan is easily able to locate.
Okay. I have stopped, by the way, on our way back from our expedition at whatever the local greasy spoon is, and I'm coming in with as much fried chicken as I can carry. Or fried whatever.
You said you asked for fried chicken, and they went, yes, chicken.
Close enough, sure, yeah. And I did not ask any questions. It smelled real good.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Perfect.
a cockatrice.
That's fine. It's fine. It's extra flavor.
Yeah.
R.E. Delicious Dungeons, like the manga.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, I have
You want some?
a space. We have the food. I should probably divulge some information that I received. And one of my skill sets you might not be aware of. Oh, no, that's right. I already told you. We almost ran away from the diner. Whatever, you guys know. And so she lets them know about her encounter in the Feywild where she got lost for a bit. And hands over the notes to Copernicus, who she knows loves notes. There are definitely misspelled names, place names on it.
There's like doodles in the corners whenever you got bored.
There's a
All
really,
the eyes
really
are darted with hearts.
beautiful rendering of the being that she saw and encountered, but like with tits out. Another skill of hers, undisclosed but now made bare.
Bernie is very gentle with the centerfold.
How about Perny makes me a... I would like you to roll 2 rolls. I would like you to roll Arcana and History, both of which you have plus 10s to.
Ooh.
Alrighty. Oh, and that's because I have expertise in those. Is that why the bonus is so high?
Yes.
Beautiful. So history is 26. And Arcana is 23.
Oof.
Sorry, 26 and 23.
Yeah, for history and Arcana in that order.
In which case, when so just to make sure to set the scene here, so basically Morgan came and got you all at the Sunshine School and says, "I have a private place that we can meet and talk in utter, privacy."
Love Shack. It's a little place where we can get
Yes,
together.
and
Yeah.
leads you to a
Perfect.
place. There's a sign outside that says Rock Lobster,
Perfect.
10% off. It's like a restaurant, but you go through in the back wall. There's like a secret passage into a hidden sex dungeon, and you are brought into like this nice, neat little room with very large beds, and more of them than one would think is truly necessary.
I'm
There's-
rolling just a random roll to see if I recognize this as a brothel.
You've been in brothels
No,
before.
I know that this. I know what's going on. I rolled real good.
Wow. Fetid does immediately find this excellent kobold hammock with the
Yep.
tail hole.
So
Perfect.
comfy.
Mm-hmm.
I practically grew up near a brothel with Dromlin. Spent
I
half my
grew up
time there,
inside one.
so I know what's going on.
Yeah, and Tromlin, your area of expertise is very much relevant. This is just not just any old brothel. This is like a full-on
Like specialized.
high-end sex dungeon, randomly
respect
attached to the back of a restaurant.
Good for them.
And probably a very obvious Ugna's recognition of what the space is. Morgan would be like, everything's completely clean. You don't have to worry.
Oh no, that's fine. They clean real good in these places. They got it.
But yeah, so she'll divulge X information.
Which was that. I forget
lost in the
what your dream
Feywild.
was. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
lost in the Feywild.
yeah.
Yeah, this was not a dream. I'm just going to scroll back to that particular adventure.
Because I know you had a vision. I don't know how much you're telling us about it.
But well, she'll also divulge the vision.
Cool.
When remind me, the vision was before that.
Oh,
Right. I thought you'd already told them about the.
Oh, but yeah, I already told you the Necrogog one. Yes.
No,
No,
you did
no,
not
I
tell
don't
them the
think so, no.
Necrogog one. That's the
Because
point.
we came
Yeah,
back.
that's what I'm revealing. That's
Yeah.
what I don't
You-
want to talk about in public.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
told just to remind everybody, you told the group about what the vision that Glorpa told you about.
Yeah.
Which was related to the dream that Glorpa had about the 4 storms in different directions. But the new vision was that they were basically getting worse. And it included this big skeletal hand reaching out of the west.
Yeah. And then I was given the homework by that deity to help stop the end of the world.
So
And names were
when-
given.
Yeah,
And with
does
us,
Morgan
specifically.
does Morgan reveal the name of the archfey that she encountered in the Feywild? I'm assuming yes.
Yeah.
So that's what your role was for, Peter. So Morgan reveals that she was visited by the archfey Charlindria, and you have heard of Charlindria. Charlindria is a member of the Sealy Court, one of the archfey, of whom there are only, a few dozen.
Yee.
This is a being that could be like a warlock's patron. Like this is a being that, of significant power. And Morgan reveals that Charlindria warned her about an evil being known as the Necrogog. The Necrogog is some kind of powerful lich or lich-like creature whose undead armies are spreading throughout the west. He has conquered the Sea of Grass and turned its creatures into his undead slaves. Copernicus, from your history rolls, you know that this refers to the centaurs.
Ew.
Alina, do you want to maybe pull up the map?
Sure.
We might as well.
Mm-hmm. The big map.
A restaurant with an attached brothel is a sex Denny's. I see.
Sex Denny's.
Good, good. Let's hope that the quality of the brothel is greater than the quality of the food. Okay, so on the map, if everyone can see it, on the extreme, I don't know if you can zoom out slightly, Alina.
I can.
No,
I'm
it's-
just in the middle of that.
It's got to, yeah, gotta do a little. There you go. So you can see at the extreme left side, in the west, the sea of grass beyond the Broken Mountains and the Blackthorn Hills. So that's the extreme west. That is a huge prairie grassland where the centaurs and related creatures hold sway.
Now maybe undead centaurs? Ugh,
That's what it sounds like.
that's not good.
To the north, the dead are moving into the wildwood, turning it foul and dark. The wildwood, of course, is where you guys found Trey.
Yeah. Where all the owlbears are.
And to the south, here's my, right, gotta get the right tab open. While in the south, his armies are marching across the Broken Lands and assaulting the peoples of Loach Tal. You can see the peninsula of Loach Tal in the south, leading towards Elvenholm. And you'll recall that you learned in Ravensfall that there is war in the south that the elves are concerned about.
A lot of
Well, none of
trouble
that's
over
good.
here. A lot of trouble over this whole area.
And Sherlindria also told you that even in Dwimmerdell, the place that you had been staying, the Necrogog's influence spreads as a terrible plague. And she gave Morgan a potion
Oh, right.
that can be used to combat the effects of the purple fungus on a victim. A single drop is all that is needed if that victim is not too far gone. If their brain has been destroyed, then it would only, allow them death.
Fun.
So I am assuming that Fetid is very interested in this potion, since
I
you
am very interested.
have some
Mhm.
varyingly infected friends.
Mm-hmm. I would love to get
And the
some,
only-
and then we get a further supply of some.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't make potions. But can't you, like, find out how a thing is made and then copy that thing? Or do you need, like,
Seems plausible.
The
It's not really
recipe-
my skill set, but I feel like
Yeah.
we should be able to find someone who can.
the recipe card or
There's
something?
that
I don't know.
Yeah.
potion guy at the school.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
kind of greasy, but like he seems okay.
yeah, we could give that a shot.
If
You're
a
also
drops-
aware that Glorpa was a potion
Oh
maker.
yeah.
Oh, that's true.
She's real good at it. We trust her.
Can we send her like a sample of it to try and recreate?
Yeah, so you have a whole flask of it, and you know a single drop is enough to cure an infected person if they're not too far gone. And what Shalindria told you is that if they are too far gone, the only solution is to destroy the Illithid that created the plague,
Okay.
which you have done.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
but
would deanimate them.
yeah, but taking a sample of the potion, you absolutely could get word to Glorpa about it, because you can actually contact Glorpa with your Perninet. So you could choose a place like the Sunshine School to leave a sample and send word to Glorpa to potentially come and do something with it.
Can I-
She'll come by as a raven with a winking butt and just swoop it up.
or one of those like big beaked birds, or like is it pelicans that have the big scoop, or like just like
Yeah,
glop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pelican.
Nice.
The Gluck Gluck 5000.
Oh. I mean, if you want to do that with a pelican, you go ahead.
You ever seen
It's not even
videos
deep
of
throat, it's
pelicans
just
trying to
deep
eat?
mouth.
You ever seen videos of a pelican trying to eat children?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very good.
Chomp.
Just literally, like anything that they think might fit in their beak, they will attempt
Mm-hmm.
to fit in their beak.
I just started Googling pelican trying to eat, and capybara was the first
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
yes.
very
you
good.
know,
Yes.
those
That's a
videos
good
are
video.
funny.
The capybara is just like, man, don't even. Just no.
I'm not gonna
What are you
fit, dude.
doing?
Yeah.
No.
I am the chillest creature, so I'm just gonna sit here, but you're not gonna succeed.
Mhm.
Like having a burrito, you can feel like the weight of the burrito in
Mhm.
your body post eating like a pretty big one. Like a capybara?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's like several burritos minimum.
Yeah.
That's just too much.
But they're so chill, they just let you do it.
They
Yeah,
would. They're
true.
just like,
You're like, you're
yeah.
not gonna like this, but
No.
you know.
We're both
It
gonna have
would
a
be
bad day, buddy.
effort. It'd be a lot of effort to get up and walk away, so I just won't.
Hmm.
On the topic of saving the world from certain doom,
Mm.
can I also send a slow mail word to the maestro and ask him if you were going to try to deliver a curse breaking potion as say like a chemical weapon against an undead army, just for example, and you had
How
a
would you
really
do it?
concentrated form of it that you could perhaps like dilute into some kind of sprinkler system or like a crop duster flame, something like that. How would you go about it? And just get him started on some designs, maybe for if it's handy in the future. If we end up in a large scale conflict, let him figure that out.
We
You
will
can indeed pop such a letter
spray
into
for
the snail
undead.
mail.
Yeah.
There's like, I don't know, some D&D race of
You
magical
could
snail
you could
people
also
that are
inquire
mail
as
carriers.
to you could also inquire as to like at a like pill form that we could carry around that is not in a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
Well,
yeah,
and
So
that would
that's-
be that would be something to say to Glorpa as
Oh,
part of
right.
like, hey,
Yeah.
what can you do with this potion to like make it, recreate it, make it easier to take, etc.
So this all sounds really bad. We could trust you, right, Morgan? And then I
Yeah.
look to Tromlin.
No, it's
Yes? I mean,
Okay. You gotta swear not to tell anybody, like not even anybody, about this, because it's a big secret. It is a big, scary secret. But
I won't tell anyone about this.
Okay. Good. We got this sword that was my mom's, but it's broken, and it's like got something to do with the whole stopping the end of the world or something, but we gotta fix it, and it's special, and we can't let anyone know about it, because it'd be real bad if they knew about it.
Okay.
But that's maybe
Like-
involved, and the Fae want you to come hang out with us, so we need your help too.
Okay. But like, what does the sword do? / who is your mom?
We don't know. I mean, I know my mom. She's cool. She was an adventurer like back in the day. She had this like super magic sword. It was really good at fighting some stuff. But then she disappeared. And then this sword got sent to me mysteriously, but it's broken. And there's like a piece missing. So I think I have to
Okay.
talk to the dwarves about it because it's all like dwarf magic. But it was real fancy.
Dwarf?
And the sword's name was Doombreaker. And I'll repeat it in Dwarven, because I speak that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Rakambar.
Oh, good.
I
You
guess I'll
found
be
that.
doing like
Nice.
a history or arcana check.
Yeah, so I can summarize a little bit of like what we know, and I think we're fully trusting Morgan with this information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the blade was crafted using rune magic, which the dwarves have kind of monopolized, but predates their exclusive use of it. the blade that we have, which was born by Ugna's mom, has the runes for greatness, sun, prison, eternity, might, gods, magic, uniqueness, and keyhole. And the keyhole one's interesting for the Doomsday Prophecy, and also a bunch of those words are kind of connected to like my history in the desert, which is a little concerning now that I'm reading them out loud. And then we also learned more recently that there's also runes for cutting/sharpness, unraveling/undoing, liberation in the philosophical sense, /getting unstuck. And above the liberation rune is a rune related to fate or destiny. So like this could be like liberation, like breaking free of destiny. It's a very powerful rune. So the sword we believe is connected to a prophecy about Baradvar Enyanvar, the great elven tower thrusting up from the Sea of Evermere, which is related to a bunch of doomsday prophecies. Glorpa saw it in a vision, surrounded by a black storm with lightning to the north, dust storms to the east, earthquakes and red skies to the south, near the Burning Islands, and gray skies to the west. And you communicated to us how that vision's gotten worse, with this dread hand growing over the west, and more forces moving, like more urgently. I got a few notes about like there's just political upheaval and shit going to shit everywhere, and it seems like what we know about the Doomsday Prophecy is that we're probably going to need some kind of cooperation between all these factions. At least, maybe that's just what I think. Maybe that just might be my opinion, actually, not a fact. But I feel like the dwarves have a piece of this because they know a lot about the runes and they're very secretive about it. I think the elves have a piece of this because the name of the blade is in High Elvish, and I think the tower is Elvish and connected to the Elvish Sea. And the forces that are moving are in all corners, so I think we kind of need to get a bunch of people in on this. Oh, and the blade is connected to Caligon, but we're not exactly sure
Right.
how.
Who is the Black Dragon Lord of Nelmar's Ash?
Yeah.
One of the cities.
Yeah.
Well, so that's a parcel of news
That's a
and no
lot.
mistake.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Morgan, as Copernicus is saying all these things to you, you, of course, as previously in this room, can see your reflection in various surfaces. All of your reflections are looking extremely worried, and they keep glancing at each other. As he is talking about this, and they'll like keep glancing at each other and looking at you. You get the impression that this is extremely important. If that hadn't already been made clear by your encounter with Sherlindria.
Morgan's trying to pay attention, but she's also like thinking about that shiny rock.
Oh, I'll identify that for you. I'll do an
Nice.
identify.
Yeah.
Nice.
If that'll help.
Yeah.
If you'd allow me.
Yeah, let's check it out.
And while that's happening, I would like a roll from Tromlin. I'm just trying to decide what is relevant. It's kind of history-ish, but it's more specific to your background. So let's call it a history roll, but you get proficiency on it. So you're not normally proficient with history, but go ahead and roll it as it is. So I think that gives you a +4.
Do we think it's like a god smiting or like a key thing?
Sounds like it could be both.
Mhm.
I wonder what the significance of it being broken is. Like, should it remain broken?
I don't
19?
know.
19. So as this conversation is going on, and of course you're also like hanging out in this crazy sex dungeon, you know, you have a little bit of a professional interest, you know, in this sort of place, and it's kind of like it is very high end for somebody's private sex dungeon hidden in the back of their place of business.
Yeah.
Or home. You imagine that the people who run this tavern/inn live above it as it, or in it as is common. And you have a sort of vague recollection that there are branches of magicians or magic use that are sort of sex cultist oriented. And it makes you wonder if this is less somebody's recreational area and more somebody's ritual area. But that just occurs to you as you sort of take in the environment that you are hanging out in.
I guess I'll look around for any holy symbols.
It's a lot of taking in this space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking in is
putting
sort
out
of what
too.
this space is for. Taking in and also giving out. There are holy symbols here for sure.
They're all battery
are,
operated.
yeah. No, but there are several sort of what appears to be sort of decorative carving here and there in the room, just tasteful decor that in fact incorporate magical or holy symbols. You don't really recognize the magical symbols. It's not you're not trained in Arcana. You're like, I guess there's some stuff here, but from your religious knowledge, actually make me a religion check. It's probably a good idea.
That's also not good for me. But
Not great, but at least you're you're at least you're ostensibly a trained cleric.
Cleric who's not read through their deity's Bible.
Like, I became a cleric after I was like a thief.
Just
that
skimmed
was like
it.
a later thing.
Cole's notes. Kobold's
14?
notes.
14?
Sorry, 14. Also, can you roll me your god for today, since it's a new day, and I wouldn't mind knowing what that is before we figure out what you can figure out.
Is there a god of like getting lucky?
There are quite a few. Where's my Pantheon?
22.
Randy's god list. Amuses me every time I see it. 22?
Mm-hmm.
22 is Dionysus again.
Yeah!
Full on Dionysus.
Good day
Dionysus is very pleased about the place that you have found yourself. And you will, in fact, almost certainly see several Dionysian symbols here and there in this place. That isn't like that is something that you would normally expect to see in a sex dungeon. But you also see a number of symbols, most of which you don't recognize, but a few of which you are relatively certain are like attuned to like sex gods, fertility gods. Like you recognize a Freya set of symbols in one part of the room, which is not too surprising considering that that Dormerdale is within the Northlands. But that isn't the air. That particular god set isn't the set that you follow. So you're not super. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of signs of worship or at least magic in this place. So meanwhile, Morgan, you've been talking about this stuff, and Copernicus, you're doing the identify ritual. So let me get to that. Where is my poll questions workshop? So you identify this as an Arcadian keystone, which is a type of magic gem of the Feywild. So the most common of these are the moonstones, and moonstones are a particular type of magic item. But they're not the only kind of Arcadian keystone, and basically there's a type for most gems. So this, I'm trying to remember the type of precious stone I was basing this on. It's a pink one.
Rose quartz?
Yeah, I was thinking rose or ruby quartz. But I think... Oh, no, okay, sorry, it was garnet that I was thinking of.
Ah, okay.
That's the
very
one I was
different
thinking
gem.
of. There's a bunch of different pink garnets. That's what I was
Pink
picturing.
diamond. Hell yes.
Was that a comment in the?
We're
Mm.
just Steven Universing it. It's great.
So yes, this particular stone, like most of them, has magical effects. But in addition to having magical effects, it would also have significance to various denizens of the Fae. That you cannot determine with an identify spell. So you're not sure, sort of like, who might covet this stone or whose, Arcadian purvey this stone would be connected to. But you can identify the magic that is capable of this stone, which is effectively twofold. This stone can be used to create or dispel illusion.
Mm.
Hang on just a sec. We are frozen. Oh, I know we're moving again. Good.
Good.
Good. I just swapped us over.
It was an illusion.
Ooh.
Could I do a Arcana or Insight to kind of see who would be most interested or have more of a connection with this?
I think Arcana would be more relevant. Insight
Okay.
would involve like being against another person.
I'll get
Okay.
the
This is
help action
more
if you'll.
pure knowledge. Yeah, you're trained enough in Arcana that it's relevant. So go ahead and roll it with
I'll be using-
advantage. Yeah.
Ooh.
This beauty.
Ooh.
Pink garnet.
Cool.
And
Choice.
hopefully it will not serve me poorly.
Nice.
Excellent choice.
That's a 14 plus 6.
And is that your highest of the two? Or
Oh,
did you
sorry,
roll?
you're right.
You get advantage here.
That is the highest. The other one was a 10.
Okay. So that's not going to give you necessarily a specific name.
Mm-hmm.
But you are quite certain that you are dealing with the Sealy court. There would be Fae who are, interested in love, for example, and like the Fae version thereof. So more to do with the physical side and with like manipulating that sort of thing. You're not sure which specific, like some of the names of some of the like the Green Lord, the Stag King, various others that are archfey of the Sealy.
Mm-hmm.
But you would suspect that this is like beneath the top tier archfey. This is probably related to a specific like Fey Lord, but not quite Fey God, right?
Okay.
Like this isn't like Titania's cloak brooch or something like that. But it would be something like that to a next tier down Fey Lord.
Okay.
So that's as much as you can get with that roll.
I'll divulge that and also say I did have another vision about this. And it the best I can guess from it is that it should be kept from prying eyes and kept secret. So I'm just gonna hold on to it, and hopefully we can get to a place where we can figure out more about it.
Cool. More secret magic stuff. Good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You guys have a good collection here now.
She'll just shove it into her bra.
Good.
Into
So
the
we're
cleavage.
storing it.
Why not?
Vanishes entirely.
I reach down my bra, I pull out the wrapped up sword and shove it back in. Give you a little. Gotcha.
Yep. You go to do that, and what you actually pull out is like a giant triple cheeseburger, and
Yes.
then you're like, wait, hang on.
Oh, sorry,
Root around a bit more. There it is. Pull it up.
Yes.
Perfect.
I'm not sure whether it's more appropriate for Ugna or Morgan for this to act like a bag of holding, but somewhere in there.
They both got room, just in
It's
different
true.
ways.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to give somebody a broad holding magic item. That's 100% going to happen. I'm writing that down.
It's just the perfect item.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
wizards get on it.
I can reveal, by the way, that the chat chose the magic gem
Oh, cool.
as the option. The poll was for what special treasure drop the Quag Illithid would give you guys. And one of the
Fancy.
options was a strange Arcadian gemstone.
Ooh.
Nice.
Well, I'm excited to see Morgan get up to some illusion shenanigans.
Hell yeah.
Indeed.
Do we want to do a bit
so-
of research on what a necrogog is? Maybe we can
Mhm.
find some stuff about that at the school for youngsters. They've got a good library.
I'll give you a little info right off the top of your high rolls that you've just made. So you've heard of a demagogue. So you imagine that a necrogog is akin to a necrogog is to the undead as a demagogue is to politics.
Is it like a canine creature of some kind?
How would
Morgan's completely
Copernicus respond
serious.
to that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Morgan's completely serious. Is that like a canine creature of some kind, like a wolf or?
I think
Like an-
it's more like a temptation whispering, soul stealing, ultimately corrupting force of evil and undeath.
Well, yeah, but like, is it like dog themed?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh. Okay.
You said it was a lich or something?
Yeah, certainly something lichy.
That's like the dead guys who just walk around, but they're super magic, right?
Morgan's gonna lean a little bit closer, whisper, "Are you lich?"
No.
She's gonna insight that lane.
I would like you to roll insight. And I would like Copernicus to give me a baseline by rolling deception.
That is a 18, 9 on the dice.
That's an 8 for me.
Ooh.
An 8 total?
I rolled an 8 total. Yeah, 4 plus 4.
And I got 18.
You're not
Okay.
really a lich, but you're not.
Yeah, so that's probably it's no, definitely not. Yeah, there's like a
You're
there's
like lich adjacent.
you get the impression that Copernicus is leaning hard on technically no.
All right.
And Copernicus kind of like weaves in and out of being deluded about his own nature sometimes. Like
Yeah.
sometimes he legitimately just believes he's just lost track of time since Barb died. It can't have been that long.
Yeah.
The days just go by funny. And then sometimes he's very aware of like, oh no, I am a semi-undead being.
I don't even eat
so-
or drink.
This
or
is
sleep.
where the audience and party have so much more information than I do. I greatly appreciated the reading. It's very rare that I find people as ridiculous and trashy as myself. So I loved it. On top of the fact that I have only a vaguest sense through inferences and what has been talked about the bucket. And
Very good. I
I'm
quite like
fine.
rolling
I'm
this out of the
fine
game.
being in the dark. I'm
Yeah.
fine being in the dark.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I was about
crazy.
to give you a roll that may give
Yeah.
a little bit of light.
Ooh.
So make me an
Looks
Arcana
good.
check, please.
Is it a monster?
That's a natural 1.
Ooh.
Looks good, baby.
Gonna put that
Oh,
in the little dice jail over here.
Yeah,
isn't
I
that the
would.
second dice you put in jail tonight?
Yes. The
They are
other
in a
one,
dungeon.
yeah.
So yeah,
Half of the
Um,
beds are have like full cages underneath.
so you get technically no,
Yeah.
and you think maybe necromancer,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
maybe knows some undeady magic, and that's why he's like, oh no, I'm not a lich, but I dabble.
Yeah.
Is sort of
Don't we all in this economy?
Yeah.
Don't
It's
we
a side
all?
hustle. It's a side hustle.
yeah, he's not undead, but he's got a side hustle.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
am going
it's-
to
What year is it?
relent to a insight roll. Ugna believes that Perny is alive and like offers him food on a regular basis and asks if he's slept.
Mhm.
Just giving you that one for free.
Yeah, honestly, with Morgan's insight, I'm going to say that we kind of hand waved some time passing here, but I'm going to say you have noticed by now, like you guys took a long rest in the tower. Copernicus seems to have stayed up all night. He doesn't
People
seem
don't
to
sleep that much.
Yeah,
Old people need maybe 4 hours. They're
you
like,
haven't
yeah.
you haven't ever seen him eat or drink anything. He has
Maybe.
done
Again,
some
Again,
relatively
toasts
bad
every now
miming.
and again, saltines,
Yeah.
some Tums,
Some Werthers.
some
Mhm.
tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a little toffee pudding.
He occasionally throws like hard candies in his mouth and sucks on them, but then he eventually spits them out. Uh, they come out looking pretty much dry. Yeah, you have noticed some reasons to have asked that question.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
And I think Perny will have been clear that like his wife's ashes are in the bucket. She passed away a long time ago, and he has a bucket list. Like this is stuff that he's open
Let's-
about. He just
Yeah.
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 That why don't we RP that, because that's
Yeah.
that's some specific character.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
like to see that.
Yeah. So I think at some point, like maybe when like Ugna brought the chicken and they were eating, he would have at some point like taken a piece and chucked it into the bucket. And if he saw you looking, he'd just be like, "Oh, this is Barb." And you know, sometimes you fall in love with someone, and it's a love for your life, and sometimes it's a love for beyond that too. So she just joins me on my travels. We had a lot we wanted to do together, we didn't quite get to, so she helped me come up with a list of things to do together, just to make sure we cross off the whole bucket list. One time we had sex in the holiest of holies. That was just like a month ago. We've let's see here. I was gonna eat the heart of a dragon, but I decided not to. It would have gotten us in trouble. Drink dwarven ale. Oh, I got screeched in by an Aldracovian 2 months ago. Heisted an airship. So it just, keeps you young, keeps you in touch with the people that you love.
Hot
May
ghost
I?
pirates too.
Morgan will gesture to take a look at your beautiful wife.
Perny will bring it over, but he's gonna hold it, like
Yeah.
in a way that you can touch it, but like he's
Yeah.
not gonna let go of it.
Oh, you don't
Yeah.
want to look in there. That's bad.
Yeah.
She-
Actually, I'll probably say like don't take off the lid, just for your own sake.
There's a lid. I know very
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
about the what the bucket looks like.
It's basically like a little pail with
Yeah.
like a lid that seems to be screwed or sealed on the top.
Okay.
And then it's got the little bucket handle that goes up above that you can hang on to.
Okay.
At a distance, it looks like a generic kind of bait pail. When you get up close to it, you see this fine network of runes kind of engraved into the metal of the bucket.
Yeah.
Which
She
seem to kind
fully-
of come and go.
She fully would have been peeping a look when he opened it and put the chicken in, though. Like, she would have fully been like, take the opportunity to like lean in and have a gander.
I would like
That
a
is-
roll for this. I would like a
Yeah.
roll. I would like a surreptitiousness roll from Copernicus. Let's make that roll on
Sleight of hand.
well, even just stealth. It doesn't have to be sleight of hand. And
I'm assuming that I won't have my shadow bonus to this because we're just
no, because this is just like trying to do it without like
yeah.
overly revealing things. And then I would like Morgan to roll investigation.
It's a 19 on my end.
That is only a 3+.
Ooh.
Plus
Yeah.
nothing. So,
Literally
yeah,
nothing.
So yeah, you kind of like crane and try and get a glimpse at one point, but he's too very careful about it.
I will be trying again
Yeah,
later.
you
Yeah.
will
So,
notice that he didn't just throw in a random piece of chicken. He's like,
Mhm.
as you guys are eating this animal, you know how when you eat a roast chicken or even fried chicken, that there'll be some in between the ribs. There'll be some pieces of often kidney and stuff like that that's stuck in the near the spine. It's that stuff that he's pulling off and throwing in there whenever he encounters it.
okay.
Organ meat specifically.
But yeah, when he holds it aloft for her to look at, she'll gently touch the bucket and look around a little bit, as if like someone was holding up like a gentle child, and she touches the little feet and be like, "Oh, wonderful."
Roll a wisdom save.
That's a 19.
Ooh.
Okay, so you get
Cool.
just like chills, like shuddering chills up your arm where you touch it.
Yeah.
And pull your hand away, and you immediately sort of back to normal. But like that was weird. That was supernatural.
Wonderful. Cool.
And I think we've been traveling together long enough that at some point you'll have noticed the haunting. Like, I feel like 5 days without some kind of
No.
haunting phenomenon. No.
No, because remember, you are less
Right,
haunted right
Right.
now.
Yes.
Oh, right.
So there haven't been a lot of overt haunting effects.
Great.
Nothing that would show up overtly over like the normal stuff that you do. So like your character floats around all the time anyway because you got your boots of flight, and like like weird creepy stuff is happening around
Now
you.
on top of like needing
you.
to remember to fake breathe and remember every now and then to like, food is good, as it falls off the spoon right back into the bowl. I now also have to remember to walk on the ground. This is perfect.
Yeah, Morgan will be definitely like will glance at like her reflection a little bit after like examining and be like,
Yeah, when you do that, your reflection shrugs.
okay, all right.
I don't know what his deal is. Actually, it'll say that to you. And only you hear it. It's like, I don't know what this guy's got going on.
What are you good for? Goddamn.
Weird.
Cool.
And that
great.
That said, I think I'll get an Arcana roll from Copernicus as well on a separate topic.
That's a 24.
You definitely have. Well, actually, you know what? I also want a perception roll because you're a little oblivious, so maybe you.
Yeah, this is it a social thing? I have social obliviousness, which would actually be disadvantage if this is for a social cue.
It slightly is, but I think there's enough non-social that just make the roll.
That is 16.
Okay, so I know how much you've noticed, and then to a high degree, from what you've noticed, what it would mean to you. So you've definitely noticed some slightly weird things that happen around Morgan, as well, of a very different sort, though. And actually, I should probably get a perception roll from Tromlin because he would be even, I think, more attuned to this.
Okay. Give me a second.
I'll get one from Fetid as well, although it'll mean less to him, and I will expressly not ask for one from Ugna.
No. I'm just imagining
Oh,
as all this like
very
talking
high.
is going on, Fetid and Ugna are in the
You
back, just
could
like eating this
you
bucket of
could
chicken.
make these checks. You could make these checks, but also remember.
Excellent. Distraction.
Yeah,
What do I got for
What
Tromlin?
checks? What checks?
I
What
rolled
check
a
was
20.
that?
listen, I'm eating
I rolled
chicken
a-
and looking at boobies. That's how this is going.
I
There's
rolled
still
a
enough
nat
thoughts in
20.
this head.
Chicken.
Natural
27.
20.
Chicken.
27
Wow.
total.
And Fetid,
17 plus whatever the modifier is.
you've got a decent. I think you've got a plus 5. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys notice more than Copernicus does, but it'll mean different things to different people. So Morgan will occasionally whisper to herself or be looking like she's making eye contact with things that aren't there. um, and Fetid will notice this and be like, "Yep, all these big creatures that I hang out with are fucking weird in various ways, so I'm not remotely surprised."
That's fair.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
But Copernicus and Tromlin will definitely start to come to think that there is some degree of like spirit world interaction going on here with Morgan. Um, Copernicus, you've noticed less of this, but with your Arcana check, you're putting 2 and 2 together a bit. Like the whole, hey, by the way, I ran into an archfey who gave me a warning.
That's a big
is
deal.
is not an ordinary random person. Hey, usually the story is I disappeared into the Feywilds and ran into an archfey, and I'm not telling you this story right now because there's no way I survived this sane or intact or not like transformed into a candlestick for eternity or whatever.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. And that's maybe less of a thing that Tromlin is picking up on, but Tromlin's definitely picking up on like you Tromlin are Fey touched, and of course Fey blooded, and you know what satyrdom means. You know that Morgan is Fey blooded, so you feel like Morgan may have more of the Fey touch even than you. Like you're not really sure about how the whole sorcery thing works, but like you've got a few extra magic tricks because of your fairly powerful Fey blood, and you've had occasional moments where you've had visions and other weird moments of the Feywild reaching through and touching your life. You get the distinct impression that that may be even more of the case when it comes to Morgan. For why that is the case, you can't really tell. Maybe you could ask, but like you can't sense.
Seems
anything
rude
that
to
kind of-
ask though. Like,
Hey, what's your
shove myself
deal?
in her business.
But and then Copernicus, you're noticing less of these events, but you're definitely kind of more something. There is a connection to the Fae here that is greater than is being openly spoken of.
Good to know. Just a couple of weird, unstable magic users trying to figure out each other's deals.
Good. Good. This half of the
if you-
episode is definitely going to be called, "Hey, what's your deal?"
I think I've been a lot more forthright than anyone else here, other than Ugna, I guess.
In some ways.
Well, who wants to go hunt for necrogogs? Or the necrogog?
Sounds like it's a thing we gotta do, because, like, otherwise he's gonna take over everything and just make all the fungus come back.
I might, do we want to do a bit of, research at the library? Maybe send, we have an ally, a wizard, back where we're from in Mud Hollow named Dangolf. Dangolf the Dun, who might be able to do some research and send us information if we can send him a letter and ask. He's been very trustworthy, and his counsel I think we all would keep. Is there anyone else that we want to pull in? Any other assets we want to draw on, like folks that we've talked to who we think would be able to help with research or backing us up or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyone we could get to help us in a fight would be great. If this was just one of his minions, he was so tough. I don't know
Yeah,
if we
that
could fight the
was a
big
bad
leader
time.
guy on our
Lane,
own.
what was our budget for returning NPCs? Can we get I want Zub back. I want Logan. Bring everybody in. Rock
Yeah.
No
us
Heckle
up.
and Jekyll.
They're
They're
gone.
gone.
At a time. Yeah, but they were NPCs. They were NPCs.
Yeah.
They didn't have any guests playing them. But I do want to bring in some of our guests again, but it would be one at a time. That's the only issue.
Hmm.
Um,
Howard was
So-
a paladin. That feels like that would be good against a necrogog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hollis Rockabilly.
I guess the question is,
Yeah.
Hollis Rockabilly.
Yeah.
Good old Hollis.
So yeah, what is the plan? Because I've heard a few different things here. You were talking about going home to Mud Hollow,
Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
and I will remind you, Copernicus, that it's still, I'm assuming, very much in your mind that you need to like re-strengthen your connections. And the modes that were suggested to you was that possibly one of the issues could have been loss of some of the ashes and finding those ashes. Other things that were suggested to you were find some other items of import
Yeah.
to the haunting spirits.
So I don't want to like either drag the whole party into my deal or take up too much time on a side quest. So I guess like I can give you kind of a list of like the things that are on Pernie's mind to do, and we can maybe look at the ones that are going to be the best way to like share time here. But definitely yeah, reforging the connection with Barb, which I think would probably mean trying to find some ancient Ixian artifacts, or maybe even going to Ix, is on his mind.
Here, run back to the map.
That's one of the ones that is the
Yeah.
question partly becomes how much are you sharing with the group, because obviously the group does not know.
I'll
Where-
that
say
is a
that
place
like
that you might
Oh,
go.
Barb was from the deserts of Ix, and I spent some time there as a younger man. And there was an accident, Morgan, a couple of weeks ago where some of her remains spilled out, and I just don't feel as close to her. So I was hoping to go back to where we traveled together in the lands she's from and see if I can maybe find that fire again. He's fully looking for more material of her to like reconnect to his
That's the
weird
one.
power bucket. So that's on Fernie's mind. Necrogog research is on his mind, and continuing to see if the alliances of dwarves or elves or
Sorry.
anyone will come together for a talk.
I mean, should probably talk to my mom. I don't really want to, but she should at the very least know about this.
Who's your mom?
Just some mom.
Hmm.
Can I
But
insist just some mom?
Yes,
Not buying
yes, you
that
can.
one.
Yeah, that seems like a
I will take a deception roll from Morgan
somebody.
and an insight from.
'Cause I-
15.
Ernie.
I actually gave you the name of my mom. Alina doesn't remember it, but you're gonna be like, "Yeah, my mom's name is blah blah blah."
I got an 18.
But then you're like,
15,
"Just
okay.
somebody."
Yeah,
Once told
that's
me.
no.
I mean, anyone else wants to roll insight, you can.
I got a 23. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
I mean,
I am gullible. I
So-
specifically will not.
like I'm not gonna push it because I keep my parent information kind of quiet too.
yeah.
No,
Fair.
all I'm going to give you is so those of you who didn't make it, Morgan will sort of backtrack and just kind of or backpedal and just kind of
You
go.
probably haven't heard of her.
I mean, I just mean she's not anybody important. She's just my mom. She's, you guys all have moms, I assume. You
I
know,
mean,
maybe not. Some of you are weird things, but
I came from an egg, so it's probably different.
for higher insight, depending on how much they know
Well, I was
about.
I was just.
Well,
gonna
I don't
give
know how much
higher-
info
I'm
is
gonna
out
give
there
for
about
higher-
Morgan in general.
No,
Yeah.
for higher
Yeah.
insight, all I'm giving is her mom is definitely somebody of importance.
You may have heard of her.
She's definitely someone important or someone like not necessarily famous, but like with a position or something, and she's trying to downplay it. So
Yeah.
Tromlin will definitely get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you were saying like, I got to do something about my dad, and someone were like, "Who's your dad?" and you were just like, "Oh, just a guy," and they incited you, and
And
we're
you'd be
like,
like,
"Mm." So yeah, you don't know what the details are because that wouldn't be something you can just insight. You can't
We
read minds.
probably have heard of her, maybe.
But you would, yeah, and again, I'll remind that Tromlin only kind of gets that from insight.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you share that with anyone else, but
No, again,
Yeah.
like I keep my unless I catch her trying to get more information about me again in the future, like she's done more
then
than once.
but now you've got a card to
Mhm.
play, right?
Yeah.
That's
the
what, like, I'm
point.
like, okay, well, you want to know about my parents? Tell me your mom. I know you were lying, but
I know she's important.
I-
I know she's someone important.
I didn't lie.
Just
lying by
some
omission is still
mom.
lying.
No, it's
Lying
not.
by
Technically
omission is
not.
still lying.
Technically is not. Technically
Oh,
is
no.
not.
No, we
There's
don't
a
know.
We'll
a
ask
social
Faye.
fight-
Ask
a
the
Faye.
social fight
Ask
between
the
the-
Fae if lie by omission is technically a lie.
Roll me
We're
a
not in the
social
Feywild,
initiative.
are we? My
Say their
entire
initiative.
career
Yeah.
is being a charlatan. You're not going now.
No.
No, that's
So,
ideal, frankly.
Perny, if you gotta head to the Desert of Ix at some point, I gotta stop by Rockspire, because I was supposed to talk to the dwarven smith there about the sword, and Hollis was gonna like put in a good word for us and like maybe hook us up with someone. So it's kind of on the way.
That'd be a very productive stop for learning more about the sword and its potential role in the prophecy. So
Yeah,
that seems like a very worthwhile journey to be making.
but it's like at the opposite end of the world right now, so it's like real far.
Yeah. Going
Morgan,
home to-
you would know Morgan from what they're talking about. If we still have the map up? Yes, we
Yep.
do.
Mhm.
We got Rockspire and the Desert of Ix over here.
Yes, and Morgan, you will note that if that journey were to be made by road, it would in fact take the only
are
road.
Over here. We would have to
Can
go
you-
all
yeah,
the way.
By road would go through Ravenfall and around
Yeah.
the Great Ring
and then
Road,
this way.
Yeah.
which it turns out is exactly where Morgan would like to go.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
point that out.
Yeah. I have some contacts in the route that we'd be taking. So we'd at least be taken care of to similar degree as this.
Everyone is like looking around the sex dungeon, going, "Whoa, wait a minute."
I mean, this is pretty plush digs. This is
Yeah, Morgan is much more at ease here than she's been in any other situation we've been in. She's not like prestidigitationing her seating arrangement. She's not laying down
Of course you feel
like the sewer, the road, the greasy
The
spoon
diner.
diners. Like she's like able to like sit and like just be comfortable and like clean, and
Cool.
so it's a lot more friendly, a lot more cheerful.
Maybe I almost knocked over the camera.
Yeah.
Need help?
Oh my goodness.
There are snacks abound,
We need help.
lots of water.
It's okay.
But yeah, so yeah, we can
So-
see also about making contact with people that might be of help along the way. It's a long ways though.
Yeah, it's a real long way. That's a big journey. But it'd be nice to stop by home. I haven't seen Sal forever. Check in our house. Make sure there's not still half a dragon rotting in the floorboards.
Mhm.
No, it's being taken care of. I arranged that.
Oh,
It's being
good. Good.
preserved.
Getting the smell out would take forever.
Sorry,
He's
home
never-
is
never do it.
Rockspire for everyone?
Mud
What?
Hollow.
Sorry, you spoke at the same time. Mud Hollow? Yeah. Cool.
it's
Oh.
just as muddy as it sounds.
I'm from
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mud pit.
I'm from
So,
the trash heap.
Actually, there's an interesting thought. I'm going to make a roll. So Morgan, I believe, is already aware that Ugna is like sort of a semi-famous
Mud
pit
Hollow.
fighter
Mhm.
because you were aware of the pit fight that happened in Ravenfall, um, that Ugna, the Bone Crusher,
Yeah.
was involved with. But you have also heard of Mud Hollow. And
Nothing
what
good.
not it's kind of like the skeeviest of the northern like towns. It's not even really a city. It's built on the edge of a swamp. It is originally just a guard tower that overlooks the one road that passes by the swampy areas. If you look at the map, you can see the swamp at the end where the mountains, where the mountains that Rockholm are within, the Rockspire is within, where those mountains end.
No,
It's
no,
then
no, no. You
basically
can't be on
swamp.
camera right now.
So yeah,
Weird with this.
it does track, however, that these people are from Mud Hollow.
We seem like we'd be from Mud Hollow.
Oh, you're right. Shit,
Cool.
it's almost bedtime. It's
And you
almost
do
bedtime.
recall hearing something about Glorpa being like
Alright,
a
get back
swamp
to the
witch
computer, okay? I'll open it.
from a swamp. So that also kind of tracks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And
Gross.
she's not even from Mud Hollow. Mud Hollow was the big city to her.
Yeah.
She was wide-eyed
Yeah.
when she first came for a visit.
It's her
From the
first time
swamps
under a
outside of
roof.
Mud Hollow.
Yes, that's true,
We
actually.
have roofs. It's great.
You are going to love how much you use your prestidigitation cantrip.
Cool.
I will look at her and say, for what it's worth, I keep my house pristine. So,
Okay.
in
cool.
spite of some people
Sorry.
looking at it,
I
So
love
the decision. So the decision then, just so I'm following along as the game master here, is that you're going to send some word around to people you know to try and do something. Get some political movement going.
Well-
Maybe you can think about that more for next time.
I-
But
I know
also,
that-
like having Glorpa make more of this potion.
Yeah. If we can get like the people at the school and generally in Dwarmerdel to like keep an eye out for the Necrogog activity while we're gone, maybe send word ahead.
Yeah.
Because we're definitely not
and-
ready to go up against them yet.
Mhm.
And I know that the on the Loaktal Peninsula, near the Elven capital, the Seers among the Elves were performing auguries. They were worried about dark forces, and they were seeking counsel and aid. And I know that we know they got in touch with the Wizards of Mud Hollow. I think from when Tromlin snuck onto the boat of the emissaries.
Yeah.
So we know that we're trying to get these people to talk to each other, and we know that the elves are trying to talk to the Wizards of Mud Hollow, and we have like a really good in with the Wizards. So maybe this is a time to send word to Dangolf and be like, many dark forces working in many places. We heard the elves might have been in touch. Would you get them to be able to like meet at a larger
Yeah.
council or something?
Well, Loktal's
So-
also like the one that was mentioned to be in the most danger at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sending word to them from one of our political allies
hey,
or
baby.
someone who they would listen to would be
Yeah.
best.
And actually, the Lady
you go.
Nightshade, I have an in with, and I think they also tried to talk to her. So maybe I can send a letter there if I haven't burnt out my goodwill with her. I can't remember what terms we left on. I think we were okay. I think she was amused.
And you're just
think
now
so.
proposing to go through there anyway on your way back to Mud Hollow.
Oh, okay. So maybe we'll
Um,
do that one. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll do another quick in-person stop in.
Hey, I can see Basilisk.
Or no, in what city is Nightshade in again?
Ravenfall.
Oh, it is Ravenfall. Okay.
So maybe just while we have the map up here in terms of like
Yeah.
geopolitics, since Copernicus has specifically got the well-traveled and extreme history knowledge. In fact, he has the historian feat. If you're looking for sort of political ability to help or to do something, the most sort of powerful nations that would be on the map, the Northlands as a whole, of course, under the King of the North, Nedrick Strack. The Dragonborn cities of Nelmarzesh. The problem there is A, getting them to agree to do anything as a unit, but also B, getting them to do anything that's not just in their own self-interest.
Felicia?
Yeah, no, they're
Oh,
at
no,
war
Ibisha.
with the Ibishans. The Holy
Right.
Ibishan Empire is
These
also a
guys.
very strong political force, but is also very imperialistic and self-interested. The Alphalicians are a merchant empire, so they're not so much, you know, single big army. If you scroll over a bit further to the right, there is the Wahadi, who so Throm is a particular city-state that is independent of all other nations.
Just very small.
And Copernicus would know that the monks of Throm are quite, magically powerful. But Throm is kind of a little isolated place where people go to get enlightenment, and is basically geographically protected from the empires around it. The Wahadi are kind of neutral. They fight with the Ibishans
You want
occasionally.
goldfish?
Fight with, like, alongside, or fight with against?
No, against.
Get another package. Bring it to me, okay? I'll open it for
Basically, the Ibishans fight
Or get
against
a
anyone
package.
that they come up against.
you. I'll open it for you. Get me another package. Get some more goldfish. I'll open it for you, okay?
I think we should consolidate the information that we've gathered in fighting against the minions, arms, fingers, what have you, of the Necrogog. Their weaknesses, resistances, abilities, and spread that information. The vampirism thing's a worry. But if we encourage people to try and establish skills, spells, resistances that they would be weak against, I think that would be really useful for everyone involved.
I agree. Very good strategy.
Okay. So, just wrapping up since we're nearing our end game time here. There's a parrot. Hello, Meg. So, maybe for next game, which will be in 2 weeks, you guys can let me know at the beginning of game sort of what larger strategies there are in terms of, like, who are you sending word to, what are you telling them, yada yada. But then the plan is that you guys are going to seek a relatively expedited means to get yourselves back to Mud Hollow,
Yeah, I think we're hitting Mud Hollow, Rockspire, and Ix.
which the default path, of course, is just taking the northern road. But maybe if you can find a ship or an airship or something of that nature, you might take advantage of it.
Oh, big stretch.
Ooh, stretchy wings. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it here. We have some, like, plot coming together. That is the end of what I've been ostensibly calling adventure number 4. So we'll get everybody properly leveled for next game as well.
No
Awesome.
one died permanently.
Oh, and Alina, you can go ahead and give everybody back their hero point as we
Yay.
begin the next arc. I can't hear you, Alina.
If somebody currently has 1 hero point, I have space to give them more? Do we go up to 2?
Yeah, I think I left space because I was planning for it to be possible. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll just
Let's
give
do it.
everybody 1,
Just give everybody 1.
regardless of what they got.
Exciting.
And I will just encourage people to use them.
Yeah.
I like to hold my potions to the end so I can say, I maybe should have used this against the big baddie.
The classic
It's good. It's good.
issue of some certain role-playing games design where it's like, you get these special luck points. Right, well, I'll never ever
spend
use them because I might need them to survive.
Save them. Never ever use
Save them
them.
forever.
Not me running around in all of the video games, never using any items.
You might need it later, though.
So, anybody got anything they would like to shout out?
I drew 5,000 goddamn comics.
That's so wild.
I just drew a lot of comics.
Congrats!
That's many a many.
Damn.
That's a heck of an anniversary.
It is. It is a very big round number.
Big, round. Excellent.
I am not going to be streaming on Sunday. We have moved game, so it is now next Sunday. Come check us out on Altered Echo Archives. We will be playing a cipher-based system game, which is very fun. Our characters just fell down a pit and have now fallen into the magical city below that we didn't know was there. Who knows if we'll get out. But that'll be next Sunday, not 2 days from now.
Monty's game is very good at not TPK.
Yes, very good. Then roll a d10. Or d20.
Roll D20?
Yeah.
14.
Heck.
Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Sorry, I had to wrap around.
And I'll let the audience know, if anybody's new, that if you are a subscriber to the channel, you get included in the draw for original artwork, which is what we are currently determining.
It's Sut OBS 1.
Nice.
Hey,
Excellent.
stop yelling.
That is the winner of the next amazing artwork. And of course, as always, please do check out the Patreon. I'm trying to put a bunch of stuff up on the Patreon right now because I'm backlogged a bit. And of course, everybody's got their socials and Patreons and other things that you can support them through.
I just dropped a link to Drab Swatch, my partner's Twitter, that links to Animation Celery. They are nearing the very end of their series of podcasts about oldie cartoons and their relations, and all that goofy stuff. And in specific, I think they're about to record their last one.
My goodness.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Cool.
And of course, as always, Randy, I think the audience should all contact their local newspapers and say that they should get rid of Dilbert and get Popeye instead.
I mean, that would be appreciated. I mean, there's also other comics like Gilthorpe and Mark Trail, which are done by people of color, which would also be a great way to say fuck you to Scott Adams for being a bigot. I mean, I obviously have invested interest because the more papers Popeye's in, the more better I get paid. But I also think after his bullshit, the way he said, and now trying to walk us back and saying he's not a bigot, replacing his comic with the work of people of color, and especially if he's a misogynist, women of color would be very sweet. But or ask for Popeye. I
ask for both.
I'm queer for what it was worth. That's something. I got nothing.
Hooray!
Yeah.
All right. Any last shout outs?
Happy recent International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Indeed. Or as I like to think of it, the day that one British comedian spends the entire day replying to people on Twitter who say, "What about International Men's Day?" with the link to the actual International Men's Day.
Yeah.
So that they can fuck off.
Now they know what about.
Richard Herring, that's the guy who does it.
Nice.
Very amusing. Okay.
All right.
So
see you all in
2 weeks. Same trash time, same trash channel.
See you all later.
See you later.
Bye.